This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Would you like to be successful like me? Sorry. Well, what you have to do is do what you love, and then you'll be successful. I love doing this, and that's why I'm successful.
Today on Living the Life, he's back. Tim Conway shares those stories we love, and we all get to meet best-selling author Tommy Newberry. We'll gain insight on how to manage our time and stress levels to take career, faith, and family to a whole new level. That's today.
Hi, everybody, and what a pleasant day to you, too, and I hope yours is as ours is. I'd like to welcome you back to the show and just sit around and enjoy yourself and listen to these ladies talk.
Have your coffee, Ted.
We asked him to introduce the show, and this is what we get.
This is what you get. Nothing. Yeah.
Let's talk about money.
Let's do
I
it.
want to talk about money.
Okay.
Because at our production meeting, we're talking about how they have some statistics here. Money actually doesn't bring you happiness. And in all honesty...
especially on this show.
Especially, well, there is no...
And it's a
money. We'd like to at least test it.
Happy beyond belief for
I'm
what you're
overjoyed.
getting.
I can't believe you.
Had a Zippo, you should be thrilled. But you know, people who win the lottery, are a lot of them are very, very unhappy, and a lot of them actually go bankrupt.
Oh, a lot of them go
Yes.
bankrupt. That's right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always so odd to me. You know, if you go your whole life wishing that you had it, to just blow it, is that just ignorance
Well,
in how
I think
what to
they
do
don't know
with
how
it,
to
or-
manage it, is
Is
what
that
they
it?
say. Yeah, I mean, they have all this, and all of a sudden, let's go
But I've
party.
also heard them say that people treat them differently, that they don't feel like they fit in with their regular friends anymore who are maybe struggling.
That's right.
Or people are
bit
hitting
for
them up for
something?
money. You know,
I
so
took
they're
all
using
my winnings and invested them in a horse race.
There you go.
And how did you do that?
Well,
Tim?
that's why I'm here.
You know, at our
busted.
production meeting, though, we started talking about, well, what does bring happiness, though? And you asked an interesting question. You said, well, who do you know who's happy?
Yeah.
Good question. Who is happy?
There's a little element of discontent in all of us, don't you think?
I think so, yeah. But you know, we actually have some statistics here about happy countries, that the percentage of residents claiming to be very happy. You know, Australia is the happiest country.
I can understand
Down
that.
under.
Nobody goes down there and bothers them.
No one goes down on it.
Like on their own island.
That's right. That's right, Mike.
Leave it alone.
USA, 40% of the people are happy. Egypt, 36%. India, 34%. And
India,
UK, 32%.
34%.
Yeah.
Are happy?
These are the happy ones. The really disgruntled ones are like Hungary, Russia, Turkey, South Africa, and Poland.
Poland.
You know,
They
I
are
was
not
really
happy
surprised
campers.
to read
Don't go there.
Don't go to Poland. That's
No.
No, we're kidding. We're kidding. We like Poland. The author that we're going to have on, Tommy Newberry, Success is Not an Accident, he has some really interesting stats, too. More than 80% of people working today would rather be in another line of work.
Really?
So that's why I was
80%.
surprised when it said America was such a happy country, which I guess you would think. Compared to
With all the
Poland,
blessings we have.
yeah,
Right,
But
right.
80% are not happy.
So you gotta love what you
are
do.
not
See,
feeling
Tim
like
loves
they're in
what
the
you
right
do.
Oh.
place.
I mean, just
I
think
always
about
wanted to be in show business, though, but this is okay. I mean, you know,
Someday you'll get into it.
you
Yeah.
have to keep trying. You have to,
Yeah.
you know, guts it out. That's
But
the
when
thing
you
to
think
do.
about, you know, comedians live longer.
Do they?
Then, yeah, there's statistics on that too, that they live long. Look,
They're happy.
George Burns lived to be 100 years old.
Yeah.
That's
When
true.
he was aboard the Dead Sea, he was only sick.
But don't a lot of
He
comedians come from a
eventually was
place
killed,
of
wasn't he?
That's a good example. Don't comedians come from a place of tragedy sometimes?
Well,
So I was
they do.
just
Yeah, you did well.
well, yeah, my
yes.
life, yeah.
Wasn't
Your
Carol
life is
Burnett and,
Yeah.
and some other people
yeah.
talking about that?
Well, actually, yeah, that's
Mine
true.
wasn't though. I have none of those things to report for my family. Really don't.
Perfect.
Mine was,
Well,
I was
you
a
have a
pleasant.
perfect
Yeah,
life.
huh?
Because you grew up in Chagrin Falls.
In an orphanage, yeah. And no, I had a small town. Everybody cared about you. You know, it was terrific. So yeah, I have no complaints.
much for that
Such a
theory.
dull life. Yeah, you know. Well, I'm not a comedian either, so I really
But she's right. Most comedians are. They come, and you look at Jackie Mason. That's why in the Catskill Mountains, a lot of the Jewish comedians, and I started my career in the Catskill Mountains. A lot of you, Jackie Mason, well, we talk about, I don't know why he would talk like this. He was always uptight. I don't know, but it was something about. But you would watch him on stage, and there would be like a pent-up anger that would start to come out. You know what I mean?
It's explaining a lot here.
Well, yeah, and of course Richard Pryor.
Yes.
We talked about Richard Pryor, very angry, but hysterically funny.
The funniest.
Yeah.
But we talked about, too, the faith. I mean, the people that we know who really sincerely believe in God seem to have more happiness. We don't have any stats or science to back that up today, but maybe another day. I think that's true, don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
It's a comfort.
I think so too. I think you feel less compelled to have to find some thing out there because it happens inside of you.
And it makes you smarter too, because if we had said it doesn't help, but we'd have all been off the show tomorrow. So
I was going to say that. Brilliant. Joy of the Lord is our strength. Okay, now up next, find out how to put your life on a fast track and live out your dreams. Okay, so we're going to talk all about that. We'll find out how you can live out your dreams.
If you search for your genius, the things that you love to do and you're passionate about, you lose yourself in, the time goes by fast when you're in them. That's where God wants you.
Do you ever wish that you could make a living doing something that you actually love? Tommy Newberry tells you how you can do that in his book called Success is Not an Accident. Tommy, welcome to Living the Life.
Thank you for having me.
How do you define success?
I think success is reaching your full potential. That's the easiest definition. It's maximizing all the talent that God gave you, doing as much as you can with what you were blessed with. And if you can do that in your life in a deliberate way, you ought to be happy calling yourself a success.
Well, I'm
really
shocked
surprised.
About 80%. You even said it could be as high as 86%. This was a Barna study done about people who are dissatisfied with their careers.
Yeah, a Gallup poll showed and has shown
Gallup
consistently, over the last 20 years that 80 to 86% of the population wishes they were doing something else for a living. And when you think about being happy in your work, that sort of explains it right there. 86%.
So is it safety then? Is it getting into a routine? Is it just letting life happen instead of living, intentionally maybe?
Well, the success is not an accident. It's about living intentionally. And what most people do is they live haphazardly. They, when you think about how much time people spend to plan their wedding, the wedding ceremony.
True.
Weeks, months, maybe longer. How much time do they spend planning their marriages?
True.
Boy, that's the truth.
So they end up with extravagant, beautiful weddings, but maybe not exactly the marriage they want.
Maybe that's a good analogy of what we do in life with a lot of things.
It sure is.
Focusing on the stuff that doesn't matter as much. You have an interesting definition of genius. What is it?
Yeah, genius, well, we use the Forrest Gump definition of genius. Genius is as genius does. So we're not talking about Einstein genius. We're talking about finding what you're uniquely gifted to do and then investing more and more of your time to do it. And if you go back to how many people are unhappy with their work, it sort of fits. So if you search for your genius, the things that you love to do and you're passionate about, you lose yourself in, the time goes by fast when you're in them. That's where God wants you. That's where you can experience the most joy. That's where you can make the greatest difference in the world. And that's where you can be happy regardless of the amount of money you're making, because you're doing what you feel like you were made for. It's out of your DNA.
Well, you have an innate talent, too.
I noticed a lot on the Burnett show when I was getting into parrot outfits that
Parrot outfits, yeah.
That's when you were
a certain joy came,
Yeah.
But those,
Let's see. Does that mean joy comes from the outside?
Sweating her.
He especially
parrot
liked the
outfit
parrot
is-
outfit. And elephants.
Yeah.
He
And
really
kids
loved
take
it.
you seriously, too, when you come into the room as a dog.
Yeah. A little bit scared. But
What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, mister.
I don't know. I guess
But I was very
Tim's not an accident.
Yeah.
But you were a happy child, though, because you
Very happy, yeah.
But didn't your parents encourage you to do whatever you wanted?
Well, they were sharing an IQ, and I didn't get much from them, so I didn't. They were happy in anything I did.
Yeah.
Well, I was the only one in the neighborhood, so what are they going to do? I was the only kid. They would pass me around, and then other people would play with me. So I was happy at all times.
You know, your book really, though, sparked interesting conversation at our production meeting where a lot of interesting conversations happen. And he asked, well, who is happy? What really is happy? And don't you think it has something to do with faith in God and your relationship there?
Absolutely. I mean, I think your happiness, I like using the term joy. I don't know if there's an absolute difference, you know, Webster's in joy and happiness, but joy is about what's going on inside of you, not what's going on around you. And, you know, our world has, to a degree, been sold a counterfeit joy. You know, they're looking for it in all the wrong places. If they look inside themselves, if they look to their relationship with God, and as a result of that, they find the dream that God's blessed them with, then they run their life with that. God makes way and makes room for people that are following that passion. I think that passion comes from God. It's a sign, it's a clue. If you're looking for what are you gifted in, follow the things you love to do.
That he's
the things that you want to do. And I think God gives us pleasure in doing those things, which means we want to do them more. The more we do them, the better we get.
Can I ask you a question? Because I have a son who is almost paralyzed sometimes by the inability to answer, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? And, you know, you're talking about your passion. How do you know which one is the one that you should pursue?
Is this your 3-year-old?
Yeah, I get it. With it. Yeah. Thank you for thinking I could have a 3-year-old.
Well, you know, I've got 3 boys, my 3 sons, 12, 9, and 22 months. And I'm not working with the 22-month-old as much at this point. But the other 2, since they've been born, I've been telling them every night, part of our routine is, I know God made you for something special. And I say this, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to help you find it out.
Oh, that's good.
And we just drip it instead of waiting till their senior year in high school when they're taking the SATs. What do you want to do? Or they're through college, they've already chosen their major and they feel committed to the major, but they hate it. You know, and they want to do something else. Just plant the seed.
And
as parents, that's all we can do.
you don't know until you've done the major that you hate it.
That's right.
But it's okay to make mistakes, isn't it, along the way? Or not mistakes, but choices that you did that help you eliminate.
Yeah, and at some point, just run with, let's say you got 3 passions you were referring to. Just run with one. And then you'll get feedback that says, that's it, or feedback that says,
move on.
That's not it. And it's not the worst thing in the world. In fact, it's great.
Well, your book shares some really great success stories, and people, you need to get a hold of this and read it because it's just filled with wonderful advice. And coming up, we're going to hear more from Tommy about how to get past the excuses and actually live out your dream. It's all in Success is Not an Accident, so stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
So if you are optimistic and you have faith,
it'll happen.
It's not about perfection. It's about progress.
Tommy Newberry talking about his book, Success is Not an Accident. But then we saw this new book, Tommy, The 4-8 Principle, which is really, it's kind of the secret to success, and it's changing your mindset, isn't it?
It sure is. In fact, the Success is Not an Accident is about getting what you want, and the 4-8 Principle is about wanting what you get. And we can sort of debate all day which is more important, but really they're both important.
Talk about 4-8, what that means.
Yeah, the 4-8 is based on Philippians 4-8. It's a simple verse. It's one that doesn't get much press. It's in Philippians, and Paul says, finally, brethren, which is Bible talk for in summary, folks, you know, here's what you should think about. And he says, think about what's lovely, pure, true, gracious, just. If there's any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, dwell on these things. And what it really is, it's a to-think list. You know, most people, get up and make a to-do list in the morning, or a lot of people do. But this is a to-think list. And it's so much more important because no area of your life is untouched by your thoughts.
So do you think that's not necessarily natural to be thinking about what's lovely and excellent, pure and good?
It's a choice.
It is a choice because sometimes our minds sort of go the opposite way.
Yeah, I mean, Paul was well ahead of his time. I guess that's probably an understatement. He was well ahead of his time, and he knew we were not going to be hopelessly negative, but he also knew we weren't going to be automatically positive. So he presented the solution in Philippians 4:8. He says, finally, brethren, think on the things that are lovely, pure, gracious, the things that are worthy of praise in your spouse, in your kids, in the people you work with, in politics. In other words, it's so easy to focus on what's missing.
It's choice, but it's also a process, because I think our human nature is to find fault, to complain, to dwell on the negative, to dwell on what we need rather than what we have.
relating to
So
any
you
of
really have to.
And that's just in the morning, you know. we have to work at it. You know, when I read those words or I hear them, I think, gosh, that's a lifetime of work. So it's not about perfection. It's about progress. But using those words to guide your phone calls, to guide what you watch on TV, to guide what you read, what you're listening to, to guide your interactions with your spouse. Because when I think I've been married for 14 years, and my wife, Kristen, she has 10 positive qualities. 20 positive qualities.
10 that you can remember right now.
Yeah, and she's got some negative qualities. And the same thing's true for me. I have positive and negative, but the quality of our relationship is going to depend upon what we're focusing on. And you know, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, she's still going to have the positive and the negative. So am I. But the quality of our relationship is going to depend upon whether we followed Paul's advice.
Right.
And if we do, then we'll start to see other positive qualities. Because if I focus on what's missing in her, I'll notice that, and then I'll notice something else, and then they'll tell two friends, and then you know, all of a sudden it'll multiply.
What are you thinking about now as you're looking at Tim's face?
I know two things that are wrong with your wife, and I was gonna bring them up, and I don't want to get into it, you know, because you talked to these 12 other
Is it
people.
lovely and pure?
She is a wonderful person, and you're right. It is 20 things that are wrong. No question about
He's
it.
getting all of this, can you tell?
Yeah, slowly
So
but
much
surely.
to learn early in the morning. I mean, and he just wrote this book in between while we were sitting. That's
In between segments.
That's right. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in, you know, what pulls you down.
Yeah.
And if joy is truly something that's inside of you, that means that sounds so nebulous. You know, it's inside of you. It means you want to line up your thoughts with what you believe God's great plans are for your life. So if you are optimistic and you have faith,
it'll happen.
and if you think negatively, if you got a scowl on your face, that shows that you're not really expecting the best.
Well, let's go back to success is not an accident for a minute, because you say that.
Like that.
I could have had a V8.
Should have had a 4.8.
That's just funny.
Let's all get together and pull together with this one. All right. Okay. Oh, have you written any other books since we've been here? Or is that pretty much it?
No, but give him a minute or two.
Yeah.
He's got one coming. You talk
Free
about
marriage, I think.
You talk about being intentionally successful. What kind of time does it take to devote to that? And do most people do that?
I don't think most people do it, but a lot of people do it, and more people are doing it. But it takes whatever amount of time that you are willing to set aside for it. And what I mean by that is give yourself some boundaries. Instead of saying I'm going to work as much as it takes to get to where I want to go, decide what is the boundary for your work life. You know, sit down with your spouse and decide how many hours a week do we want to work on average, beyond which we don't want the economic benefits that come from it. Amazing things happen. You start getting more creative because there's a deadline. There's a threshold that you're not going to pass. People fall into traps when they go, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Ordinarily, I like that mindset. You know, winning a football game, do whatever it takes.
But they get burned out,
They
don't
get burned out. They think that if they create all these rewards and all these gifts for their kids and their spouse, that it'll be worth it someday. But when someday comes, the relationships are gone.
You know what I hear you saying in all of this, whether it's success is not an accident or the 4-8 principle, is we need to think about our lives. We need to think about our choices. We need to think about the things that matter to us so we can make wise choices.
I need to start
And think
dating
positively.
evidently. That's probably what's going on, yeah.
That's positive expectation.
Start
There you
moving
go.
around, you'll surprise everybody. And
That's right.
We need to be deliberate,
Deliberate.
intentional,
That's the word.
not shooting for perfection, just shooting for getting better. You know, 3 little questions help. You know, every day or every week. How often you want to ask them? What went well today?
nothing
Yeah.
so far.
What didn't go so well today?
Everything?
Yeah.
And what do we need to do differently?
Yes.
You know, what if you asked that after your conversation with a teenager? You'll know whether you connected. You know, you had an important discussion with your husband or wife. Did it work? If you had it to do over, what would you do differently? Or if you're just asking about your life in general, or a workout, or whatever it is, so you don't keep running through life on automatic pilot.
And
I guess that's
making the
really
same
the opposite.
mistakes,
Yeah, making the same mistake. Making the same mistake once is not a problem.
Well,
Making it twice.
Very thought-provoking. Did you understand all of this?
I didn't, but I'm going to
You're going to
see if I can a little bit later.
doing your homework later. Well, this is an inspiring book for anyone, whatever you're doing in life. It's called Success is Not an Accident by Tommy Newberry. You can find it at livinglife.com. Tommy, thank you so much. That is so great that you came here. Really is. Yeah, makes you think. Makes you think. Well, hey guys, up next, those hip young Healy brothers, you know, they're going to tell you how to work hard and work smart, so stay with us.
Adrian! You know what made Rocky the best at what he did? I think it was just because he was willing to put in the hard work. And there's one thing in life that's constant, and that's change, and we have to know that we can rely on ourselves, right?
You know, that's true. It's like that old saying, Kent. If it's to be, then it's up to me.
That's exactly right. And of course, there's always going to be help, there's always going to be support along the way, but what matters most is that we can rely on ourselves to put in the hard work when it's required.
And you don't really have to go too far back in history to see that hard work's been around for a long time. One of the greatest presidents we had, Abraham Lincoln. It took him 30 years to become the president, and he failed numerous times. Lance Armstrong had brain, testicular, and lung cancer, came back, won the Tour de France 7 times in a row. That's pretty amazing. Like you said, Rocky, Sylvester Stallone.
And what each of these people knew is that you have to put in the hard work initially to enjoy the results long term. In other words, laziness is what pays off now, but hard work is what pays off later.
And a lot of people say, hey, you know what? I'll start my hard work tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow, it's always one day away. It's just going to keep delaying and keep putting it off.
So bring the right attitude to challenges and realize that challenges don't exactly change you, they just make you more of who you are. So again, this is Kent and Kyle. Thanks for watching. Don't make excuses.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
It kind of goes with what Tommy was saying. You know, you got to change your attitude. That work
Can't
ethic
sit
starts
around all
up
your
here.
life and expect somebody else to do things for you. Pass me that thing over there.
Yeah, you went for it. That was bad, girl.
Well, I'm used to that. 8 years being on the road with this gentleman.
Speaking of 8 years
Yeah.
on the road,
Isn't that great?
there's the wonderful DVD, a collection of the work that Tim and you and Harvey Korman did together. And, you know, it is such wonderful, fun, wholesome family entertainment. If you are looking for something that your family can really enjoy together, as we all used to be able to do years ago with this talented trio, you can get a hold of Together Again. And I tell you, it is classic comedy at its finest. You can find it at our website on livingthelife.com.
Do you know, I don't think a show went by when someone wouldn't come up to us and say, wow, it's so great to have good, clean comedy again. How come they don't have that back on television? Like, for some reason, people in Hollywood don't think that the public wants to see that. I do not know why.
Every time something good and clean and wonderful comes out, they make
gets
money
goes through
on
the
it.
roof. Yeah, right.
What's the problem?
Clean's kind of a dirty word now. I mean, I know that
You know,
sounds
you're
like
right.
silly,
You're right.
but I mean, it is.
Yeah.
They need that, boy, we need that surprise.
That
you know.
R rating,
Yeah.
right?
But it's the G-rated films that do better than any of the other films.
This
Yeah.
is G-rated for great family comedy. Get a hold of it. Thanks for joining us. It's been wonderful to be with you. We'll see you again tomorrow on Living the Life.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.